Hi guys, I'm Varun and I will be walking you through the process of making your own lifting belt. Let's start with why. Why should you use such a belt? Research suggests that using a belt increases performance during a lift by 25%. What does this actually mean? Imagine that your core is a blown up balloon and the pressure inside the balloon is analogous to intra-abdominal pressure. Now when you have hundreds of pounds on your back, you need to brace your trunk, perform the Valsalva maneuver so that the weight does not split you into two. A belt is simply an extra layer that adds resistance to the abdominal expansion. Studies confirm that using a belt increases intra-abdominal pressure by almost 40% and reduces the compression between intervertebral discs by 50%. This simply means that the lift is performed in a much more safer and injury-prone manner. I frequently use the belts that are in our recreational center. However, I have experienced some pain points with their design. First, the belts have a worn out inside surface, which is just a breeding ground for harmful bacteria. Second, the front section of the belt is tapered, which fails to provide adequate resistance to abdominal expansion. And third, the prongs that are used for fastening the belt do not allow for perfect adjustment. They're always either too tight or too loose for me. Also, the areas around the holes for the prongs tend to fracture or crack after prolonged use. To tackle these pain points, I decided to make my own belt, which would allow for infinite adjustment. Generally, bespoke belts can be ordered for upwards of $120, but even those belts can be modified only to a certain extent. With my design, I plan to make a product which is both functional and aesthetically attractive. Manufacturing had two stages. First, leather work. I started making the belt by cutting the wedge stand leather into two strips. These strips would make up the belt body. Then, to stitch the two strips together, I had to make holes along the border with a special leather working tool. After making holes, I used contact cement to stick the two strips together. This serves two purposes: adds stiffness and makes the bond more durable. The contact cement must be applied to both surfaces and then allowed to dry a little bit before we can stick the two surfaces together. So, I had to do this process in parts for the entire length of the belt. Before starting to stitch, I decided to apply an acrylic layer to the inner part of the belt, which would enhance moisture resistance. After that, the belt was ready for stitching. Stitching these parts together was tedious, but after poking holes in my fingers and breaking through two sets of needles, it was done. Second was manufacturing the buckle. I had designed several buckle styles, but since I was new to woodworking, I was not sure which ones were feasible. So I started by taking a block of wood, cut a section off to reduce the bulkiness, and started to make a slot. For the slot, I had to drill holes and finish it by filing the surfaces within. I realized that wood was not a good choice for this component as the thickness that I was working with was inadequate. So I decided to use metal strips to attach the belt to the buckle. Also, I fashioned a separate metal strip which would act as a clamp with a wing nut that the user could tighten from the front side of the buckle. After putting all these components together, the belt was ready. It was testing time. I took the belt to Dixon and performed a quick set to test it. The fastening mechanism was able to hold the belt in place throughout its use, but tightening the wing nut was quite the hassle. So, in addition to carving the outer surface of the belt, I added redesigning the belt buckle to my list of future developments for this product. Other than that, I was quite satisfied with the performance of my product and I am looking forward to using it in my future lifts. After testing, I applied the polish and set it aside to dry. And there we have it, the belt is ready. So that's it guys, thanks for watching, bye.